WW7ATS. Bob, Ron, good to hear you both tonight.
Going to run the net, James?
Yeah, I could do that if you want me to.
No, I'm just kind of kidding. If Bob's there, he probably will.
Okay, that's good too.
Yeah, I'm fine doing it tonight, but anytime you want, James, you're welcome to.
Oh, thank you very much. I like Dave's cool script. It sounds so nice.
Yeah, I'm afraid I don't have that. I wonder if he's just memorized it over the years or if it's written down somewhere.
I don't have it either, but he's a pro. He probably just has it in his head.
Hey, Bob, did you lose your grip? K7HYB.
Did I lose what?
I said, did you lose your script?
Oh, no. We were talking about Dave's script, which I've never seen, and I don't know if there actually is one. No, I'm good.
Oh, that's all right. Okay. I'm here. K9PQ, K7HYB.
Okay, well, while you were talking, it turned 8 o'clock, so let's get this started. This is Bob, K9PQ, and this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. I have WU7N, K87QKU, and K7HYB checked in. Is there anyone else who would like to check it tonight?
N7QO.
Hey, good evening, Jim. I heard you, and did somebody double with Jim there?
K7ITX. Richard in Kent.
Richard, K7ITX, thanks for joining us. Nice to have you with us tonight. Anyone else to join the net tonight? Okay, well, let's send it down to James. Good evening, James. How are you doing?
Well, good evening all. Ron, you want to toss the video up? I'll give you a report. As usual, a superb signal. I don't have the streaming up yet, but you're coming on 1.2 gigahertz on a solid 4 on a scale of 1 to 5. And that's a good wave there for anybody who's timing the digital delay. Anybody who's listening to the net on 2 meters, we're the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, and you can Google Western Washington Amateur Television Society, google.com, and go there to streaming, and with a little bit of delay, you can see what we're looking at tonight. I'm not putting out a video signal tonight, I'm just receiving. I thought for sure I had an HDMI cable laying around here somewhere. I know I do, and as soon as I go out and buy another one, I'll find it, and it will be laughing at me in the corner, probably laying right out in the open where I just was staring right at it. Bob, thank you very much. I used the link that you sent me to get a little converter box to convert HDMI over to NTSC video. And I do know it works because it throws up color bars and a very helpful signal that says no signal. And then I found that in addition to powering off a USB port, it also needs an HDMI male-to-male cable, which I will have to scrape up someplace. Well, I guess we're in for some really wet weather tonight, a little bit of wind and rain, so I hope everybody's ready for that. Anyway, that's all I have for this round. Let me turn it back to Bob, Net Control. This is James in northeastern Bellevue with the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. Back to you, Bob.
Okay, James, very good. and thanks for the preamble there. As James said, you can Google us at Western Washington Amateur Television Society and find our webpage and see us streaming. And I did see Ron there, and he was looking good over the streaming. Okay, with that, let's go to Ron. K7TKU, this is K9PQ and the WatsNet. Go ahead, Ron.
K9PQ in the group, K7TKU. Well, I guess good evening, Bob, James, Gary. I guess I heard Gary in there. And then I heard Jim. And good evening to everybody. Well, let's see. I got a text from Lee. It said got the flu or something like it. Survived last night. So there's hope. Sure that I won't be on the net tonight. But I don't see anymore, and I turn Skype on. I don't see anymore. And Richard, I guess, is one behind Richard. So Richard, if you want to Skype in to my house, I can put you on the HTV net, and everyone can take a look at it. Okay, back to net, 87 QKU.
Okay, Ron, and I haven't had a chance to reposition my antenna here, so I'm going to have to ask you when the time comes to switch over to the streaming. But for now, let's go to Gary, K7HYB. Go ahead, Gary.
K9PQ and the group K7HYB. Let's see what the latency is tonight. I hope it's not too bad. But let me get the mugshot here. Oh, there's the broad picture. And you can see my call sign and me. Oh, there I am. Okay. Still no color. I'm going to have to change that one of these days. I got to move to the antenna. The weather's getting better, so I'm going to move some antennas here and try raising the 440 antenna about another 15 feet and see if that maybe doesn't help. Probably go mobile too. When I'm out on mobile, I can key and put a very good repeater signal into the repeater at 1 watt. So that's what I've got coming out of the exciter here on my deal. So anyway, and I just barely see my own picture there on the live comeback. I don't have too much to fret out. I won't be here, like I mentioned last Saturday. I will not be here Saturday. The wife and I are headed for Spokane. She's bowling in a tournament over there, and we won't be back until late Sunday afternoon. So I'll miss the net, unfortunately. And I've had a couple of small catastrophic problems here during the day, or during the week. Damned, one of my pieces of telescope decided to kiss me goodbye and say, la la la, I ain't gonna work no more. So I'm working on getting that. I bought a new one, or bought another one. It's on its way from Florida right now in the U.S. mail. So we'll have to see how that works out. Supposed to get here Friday, but I won't be here Friday to pick it up. So I'll have to wait and see what it's going to be like on Monday. But this particular piece has given me pretty good service. I've had it for probably 25 years, I guess, or something like that. I bought it. It's a heat kit way back when, and just decided, oh, I ain't going to work no more. And it's not a power supply problem. Then the triggering has something to do with the triggering circuit that turns the wave into the square wave and triangle and sine wave. So and I haven't been able to get that to work. So maybe I'll get the other one and let me drop it. I'll fire it over here back to you, Bob, and have at it. K9PQ, K7HYB.
Okay, Gary, good to hear you in tonight. And this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. I'm Bob, K9PQ. Net control this evening, and on we go to Jim, N7QO. Good evening to you, Jim.
N7QO. Thank you, Bob. Well, good evening, everyone. Good to see people. Good to hear from people. Well, someone was talking about rain. It is raining furiously here in Covington right now. It's showing 46 degrees. Don't know, didn't really get to look at the forecast. But if it's going to be raining in Bellevue, it'll probably be raining down here as well. That's okay. I'm just happy as long as it's not snow. Well, I missed this past weekend. It was kind of a washout. My wife and I wound up doing something else. And this coming weekend may be the same situation. At this point, I'm not sure if I'll be able to make the net this coming Saturday or not, but I'll keep my fingers crossed anyway. Back to you now, for now, Bob, K9PQ and 7QO.
Okay, Jim. Very good. Jim, can you just tell me, were you transmitting just now?
My picture, yes.
Okay, yeah. I should have specified. Okay, because the delay is pretty bad apparently on streaming. I'm still seeing Gary there. So, okay. On we go to Richard, K7ITX. Richard, good evening to you.
Yeah, good evening, Bob, K9PQ, K7ITX. And good evening to Ron, and Jim, and Gary. I think I heard Dave. I'm not sure. And if I missed anybody, please pardon my omission. Anyway, I'm checking in to just kind of give an update on the amateur TV equipment that we've talked about a couple times, and we have found it in University Place, the storage unit, and I think you guys have seen the pictures. And yes, it's raining like crazy here in Kent, and I'll turn it back to net control and fill in with a more expanded report on the next round. K7IT.
Okay, Richard, very good. Thank you. Thanks for that. And we're at the bottom of the list, so let me ask if there's anyone else that would like to check in. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net, and I am Bob, K9PQ. Anyone else to check in tonight? Okay, then, I will ask Ron to switch me over to rather switch the repeater over to get the streaming input. Ron, could you let me know when that's done?
Yep, it's done.
Okay, thanks. So let's see, you should be seeing my test pattern and now myself. Can you just confirm that as well, Ron? The streaming being so slow, I'm not sure.
You're up in living color.
Well, thank you. It's been light rain only up here. I haven't seen any heavy rain yet, and none in the forecast that I saw. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But I did see, I kind of looked out for the next 5 days or so, and it was either showers or light rain every day, day and night. So looks like we just kind of have to settle in for that for a little while. I do have Lee's streaming up. And it's apparently active. It looks like it's active and connected, but it's just black. So his streaming box is connected. I see the time display that gets automatically inserted. So that's kind of interesting. I've got that, but otherwise, boy, not a lot going on here. Just working away. Monday was beautiful, and yesterday was good as well, if I remember right. I think Monday I went without a jacket. It was just, it was a fantastic. Spring was finally here, and this weather's more like the spring I'm used to. Okay, with that, I will ask you, Ron, to take it back to the repeater input, and we'll go on up to the top of the list to James, WW7N. Go ahead, James.
Well, Ron, this is James, WW7N. Your digital picture, as broadcast over 1.2, is superbly good. I did notice a little digital skip occasionally. And, yeah, we seem to be in a pattern here. When we start off, there's about 10 seconds of delay. And it doesn't take very long before that 10 seconds turns into about 30 seconds. And I don't know why that is. I'm talking about the digital streaming that anyone can watch off the link off our website. So it's almost like something's buffering up or something and it can't handle it. I don't know what's going on. Well, I guess the big event coming this weekend here in the Pacific Northwest for ham radio was Com Academy. And I heard good news last Sunday night on the Aries Net that they actually maxed out their registration, actually maxed out the facilities for a number of bodies that are allowed in those buildings down at that community college. So that's really good news. A lot of active hams out there involved in MCOM these days. And the following week, I probably won't be here for that Wednesday because I will be going to Partners in Preparedness down in Tacoma. So that's always a good conference to go to if you're interested in general death, destruction, and disasters. Well, I'm in Bellevue right now, and I don't see that it's raining yet, but I certainly see it coming in on the radar. So all the windows are up on the car and getting ready for the deluge that should arrive shortly. With that, let me turn it back to Net. This is James, WU7N in Northeast Bellevue with the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. And back to Bob, Net Control.
Okay, James, good report there. And yeah, my streaming is, it seems to be just like stopping every so often. And I didn't do anything to try to get it to update the whole time I was transmitting, and it still was on Jim after I was done. But once I clicked on the red bar to try to see if I could get it more to catch up, all of a sudden it caught all the way up, and it got me caught up to close to the current time apparently. And now it's stopped again. So, yeah, there's definitely something going on there, and I don't know what it is. Okay, on we go to Ron, K7QK. Go ahead, Ron.
Okay, thank you again, Bob. K9PQ, K7QK. Well, let's see. Yeah, it's rained 1,600 of an inch over here in Bellevue today, but it didn't start raining. I don't know when it started. Well, it actually was a little bit in the morning, I guess, around 11. I had to go get my eyes checked today, so I had a full examination, so they dilated them and everything, so I'm just finally getting over that. And then I go to the dermatologist tomorrow over in Interquan. I didn't know where his office was, so we drove over there and found it. So I kind of helpful to know where you're going, especially when you're not here for a long time. And let's see, I guess it was Monday. I was in the process of changing the winter tires off the pickup in the car, and I had it jacked up in some of the tires. They're mounted on wheels, so I have to fire my air compressor to get out my impact gun, and I just, zip them off and put the other stuff on. But it was around noon, and lo and behold, James, WU7N called. I had told him that I was available for lunch anytime. He wanted to go to lunch. Darn, it was too bad. I probably should have just dropped what I was doing, but it was kind of felt dirty. and I told him, man, we'll make it another time. I appreciate the call, and we'll have to do it first. I hope he gets on the air pretty soon. We really need some more stuff being transmitted. So if there is someone that's watching on streaming, they can. So anyway, I guess that's all I have to say. So I'll turn it back over to the net, KD7.
Okay, well, thanks, Ron. And yeah, good picture as usual you've got tonight. And your sound is fantastic as well. I don't know which antenna you're using, but you sound just fine. No issues. And I did want to mention to Richard, Dave is not on the air tonight. We just mentioned him a couple of times because he's been net controlling lately, and so that's why you heard about Dave, but he's not on the net. On we go to Gary, K7HYV. Go ahead, Gary.
K9PQ, K7HYB, and here I am in living color. Oh, well, let's not go there. Anyway, there's the white shot. And one of these days, I keep threatening to do this. One of these days, I'm going to buy one of those streamers, and I'm going to put a good signal into the repeater. But I guess that's not truly the way we want to get it done, but that's as good as any. And wonder what happened to Rochester Jim tonight. Of course, he says he sometimes forgets the net, and so maybe he'll be bumping in later. I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, well, Ron, I understand those kind of problems. I have them myself. I wasn't ready to do some stuff today too. Didn't get everything done I wanted to get done, but I got some things done, and I guess that's right. And so I got two jobs here I can't finish up because my disc broke down. So this is kind of bumming me out a little bit. Let me drop it here. And I hope Lee is feeling better. That's a bummer. I know how that can be. Sometimes it takes a long time for you to recover. I don't know why. Maybe it's because we're half a century older than we were back in the days when we did recover fast. Maybe that's the problem. Oh well, life is that way. Yeah. So I don't really have a whole lot here. Just kind of I had a conversation with Rich, who's on the net tonight, on the telephone today, and we had a little discussion. What's going on here? I lost it. I don't know. The video game's turned all the way up. Maybe you have a glitch in a path or something like that. So anyway, Rich will have some information on his go-around, and we had a little talk, and I think we resolved a little bit. Sounds like between Ron and Jim Shea, they've got a plan. So all I guess what we've got to do now is execute it. Your turn there, Bob. You go ahead and take it. K9PQ, K7HYB.
Okay, Gary, this is Bob, K9PQ Net Control for the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net, and I understand what you're saying about the streaming, Gary, but I'm kind of feeling the opposite right now. I'd like to get live. I might have to get my mobile rig in place like I used to do. Why don't we go to Jim and 7QO? Go ahead, Jim.
Thank you, Bob, and 7QO. Well, I have a plan. Someone tell me what my plan is. I don't know. I missed the last net, And I also missed a meeting, so I might be a little behind on some things. It seemed that there was some thought that we may or may not have an additional ATV repeater, and it may just be someone's ATV station. Don't know if anything came of that. So, anyway, I guess the plan was to just temporarily store it at my location, and I'm fine with that. But I'm not sure exactly what we're going to store. Reset. And let's see. Yeah, I like the idea of doing everything live as well. It seems to me we've had problems with the streaming for a number of months, and I'm a little bit confused at what's going on because Bob, you and I have done a few things just over the telephone. Thank you for your help. I'm still having problems, and so I temporarily set up to receive the 1.2, thankfully. I can get, if I bring my computer over to the shack, which I don't normally keep here, I could get, let's say, streaming videos from YouTube or something. I could get them, and they will stream just lickety-split, real-time, fast. But I cannot seem to get the video from our television repeater. So I think there might be an issue there somehow. Don't know how we could look into that, but I prefer the live anyway. Reset. Let's see. Gary, you mentioned something that you needed to get. You referenced some Heath kits, and I missed exactly what you said on that you needed to get. Jim, your cable, you know you're going to find it about 2 hours after you buy the other cable. I don't know, it's around somewhere. Funny, a friend of mine said that he misplaced his battery to jumpstart his car temporarily. He had one of those little devices that you could throw in the trunk and give someone a jump. Well, he misplaced that, and sure enough, he needed a jump, and he couldn't find it. He did not buy another one, but he found it, and he said he must have walked past it about 10 times. He just didn't notice it. But anyway, K9PQ and 7QO.
Okay, Jim. Well, I've got information for you from the meeting about the streaming that you were talking about, but as far as the repeater, the man for that is up next, and that's Richard, K7ITX. Go ahead, Richard.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Bob. And it was, yes, I knew that Dave wasn't there. I watched the streaming and listened and maybe checked in a time or two enough to know that Dave wasn't there. But it was James I wanted to say hi to. So I've met Gary in person. I've done a couple things with Ron, KD7QKU, and Bob. You may not know it or not. I don't know that I personally introduced myself, but a couple of years ago we were at a antenna party, PSRG, down at Marymore Park, and you had that big spider web affair that we were getting set up for, or testing it out for Hamfest. Anywho, not Hamfest, Field Day, for crying out loud. And Ron, yes, one of these days you will get me to check in on Skype. And regarding streaming, I know that going live is preferential. However, I think your club gets a big benefit if you can have good streaming. And the reason why I say that is because when I was a new ham, when I first got my ticket, it was the streaming that really caught my interest, and that's precisely how I eventually met Ron, KV72KU, and Finney Ridge Bill. MAV. And so I think if you have the ability to keep streaming or get it working better, like it was, let's say, a couple years ago, the club will benefit, and just from the standpoint of public relations and new members. New members will be attracted by that way. So anyway, and Jim, no, you don't know the plan, but you did give it out correctly. Let me break. And the plan is what you said precisely. Is I think your offer to temporarily store it is going to be the way to go. I've talked to Scott, NB7N, the owner, and he's looking forward to me and Ron, KD72KU, and Ron's truck with his canopy. He's looking forward to meeting us in University Place in the near future to go out to lunch and pick up the gear and get it over to Jim in Covington. So that's my report for now. K7ITX, back to net.
Okay, Richard, very good. This is Bob, K9PQ. It's the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net. And Ron, if you'll switch over, I'll get switch over from my test pattern to my picture and take my turn. So let's see, a couple of notes. Ron, about the driving off ahead of time to see where the doctor's office was. I did that when I went for my interview. The one thing I don't want is to have any kind of panicked moment finding where to go to interview, and so I always feel good about doing that ahead of time, and it served me well this last interview. Richard, man, it was nice to hear you mention Bill MAV. I haven't heard that call in a while, and honestly, he hasn't been in my thoughts in a little while. But I sure have a lot of great memories of him, and it's nice to hear his call and his name again. Finally, on the streaming, there were some changes that we had to make, and going to YouTube, which is what we're using now, the YouTube Live, to get our streaming out. It's definitely not as good as what we had before, but what we had before just wasn't available to us anymore. So we had to look around to see what we could do. But your point is well taken, Richard, and I think it's worth seeing what other options are out there. We did discuss that at our meeting last Saturday, and we did discuss a few options, and they might be there. So more on that later. Okay. Well, with that, I will ask Ron to turn it back to the normal input and send it to James, WW7N. Go ahead, James.
Okay, well, Ron, you never have to worry about a lunch turn down. I think I called you and gave you 5 minutes of notice. Glad to hear the tires came off okay. That's probably an important thing to get done. And I believe the name was Rich. But right, good to make your audio acquaintance. And, well, when it comes to the digital streaming, you know, one problem at a time. We'll get it down one of these days. I do think digital streaming, there's a lot of people who probably hear the activity on 2 meters and probably go looking for it. Right now, as I said, if you get it in at the very beginning of the net, it works well, but then it seems to not work well into the net. I'm not quite sure what the problem is there. Let's see, there was Gary, your picture is looking good tonight. I can read the license plate on the 1.2 gigahertz. I could not read the license plate on streaming, but your picture is looking pretty good tonight as well. So anyway, it'll be interesting to see. I guess we've got about 20-25 minutes left of the net here. It'll be interesting to see as the rain comes in what that does to everyone's picture that's transmitting on the 70 centimeter band. So anyway, that's it for me. This is James, WW7N, and let me turn it back to net control. Bob, take it away.
Okay, very good, James. And yeah, the rain definitely affected the signals last Saturday. I'm sure they will today as well. With that, on we go to Ron, K7QK, 69Q in the Watson. Go ahead, Ron.
I think you want to go to Gary.
Okay, well, you were next on the list, Ron. Do you want to go after Gary?
Oh, I'm sorry, I was confused, I guess. So anyway, yeah, K9PQ in the group K7QK. Sorry, you know, I just had a little quit. Let's see, I noticed that my picture coming back tonight is a little bit grainier or snowier than it usually is. I don't know what's happened there. I kind of agree. I mean, we talked about it at the meeting at streaming, but I kind of think that the streaming is a really good tool to get us out into the public. Other than maybe put your limitations for themselves. What else? Well, I was sorry to hear Lisa. The guy really doesn't have a flu. There's been some crud going around. They have it. It's more or less diarrhea or something, so they just have it for a day, and then they kind of get over it. Just going to the school, so I don't know what's going on in this house. But I hope they don't have anything bad. I guess I should have, when I returned to set, I should have gotten into those, but I just said, thank you for letting me know, and I hope that you're well soon. So anyway, and yeah, James will have to get together, but I would like to help James if I could get him on the air. He talked about moving equipment upstairs to another room. And we talked about once putting an antenna on a tripod, we could just put through the window. I don't do that. I'm worried about it now. Tripod. Another sort of tripod. Well, I think put a piece of tripod on it so that you could just place your antenna on the pipe. That's the pipe like you normally would vertically, and then you transfer it with the film and stuff. I have another little tripod. Maybe go on top of a roof, but it would show in this farm. You could slide a piece of conduit down in the middle of it. So anyway, before I try that out, I guess I need to send it back to that.
Okay, Ron. Yeah, thanks for the report. And one of the challenges, I'll just quickly say, with the streaming with YouTube Live is the fact that the normal streaming, what is live streaming, is not usually live. It's got a short delay, but nobody notices because you you don't have any other avenue like this this repeater that we're talking on right now to compare the picture to. Also, a very clear video without the noise takes a lot less bandwidth, especially with compression used, so that we are challenging YouTube much more than a normal video would. Okay, without taking any more time up, let me go on to Gary, K7HYB. This is K9PQ and the WW7ATS. Go ahead, Gary.
K9PQ, K7HYB, with the burnout light on my transmitter. I just realized that. The power light on my 1 watt transmitter bit the dust. Went bye-bye. Just said, ain't no word no more. I just noticed it. That's strange. Anyway, yeah, the latency is really, I'm still looking at Jim's picture. Can't believe it. And I don't know if anybody's got the same thing, but as usual, the return from the repeater on 1.2 is being affected dramatically by the weather. It's popping in and out something terrible, and I guess my transmit signal is probably doing about the same thing. Let me see if the mugshot does any better as far as current. Now the transmit's a little more contrast, and maybe that's what the issue is. Yeah, Jim, just to let you know, yeah, this is an old piece of test gear that I bought at the Philip Hamfest, believe it or not, probably 20 years ago. And it's a pattern generators, what they call flux generators. And something in the circuit that generates the triangle bit the dust. And I haven't yet been able to figure it out, and I'm getting behind on my repair work. So I bought another one. And got to get it back functioning so I can finish the testing on these pieces of equipment I'm repairing and get them back to the customer. So I let both of them know that that I was having problems and that it was going to be a while. So that's what I'm fighting. Let me drop it here. And I haven't figured out did quite a bit of troubleshooting. I spent about 3 hours on the damn thing and haven't been able to find out what the problem is. So I don't know whether it's going to go end up in the junk pile or what. Whatever happens. So anyway, I'll have too much more. It's a quarter of the hour. Boy, Jim, the latency is terrible tonight. I'm still looking at Jim's picture, and I've tried to update it several times without success. And yeah, it sounds like Rick and Ron and Jim have got a plan. I hope it works out, and we can get that stuff in our hands. We'll find out what we can do with it from an operational standpoint. I was really kind of disappointed that they weren't able to find a group that was interested in it down there. But if that's the way it works, that's the way it works. Anyway, too bad about that. So, Bob, I'll let you have at it. Back to you. K9PQ, K7HYB.
WW7ATS here.
Well, hey, Jim, let me add you to the list. Thanks. WW7ATS. Okay. In fact, why don't you just go ahead and take a turn now since you're coming in late. We'll just insert you right here. So go right ahead, Jim. This is Bob, K9PQ for the WW7ATS. Go ahead, Jim.
Okay, Bob. Yeah, my brother called and I was on the phone with him until 8:30, and I thought you'd ask for later missed check-ins, but you didn't, so I broke in and mentioned I was here anyway. I found another application note of the KH6ATV in Florida there on his repeater in Boulder, Colorado that was real interesting. I'd read it before, but it's been a long time. but they had a pretty interesting spiel there about the different frequencies and the different modes they were working on. They have FM on their repeater too, as well as NTSC, and then of course the digital. So they've got 3 different modes on the repeater that they've got in Boulder, Colorado, and I'll let the thing drop. They did some test runs mobile around the city there, and they were able to get out about 80% on the digital stuff in this 30-mile route, but it was only about a little over 6 miles the furthest distance from the repeater. But they were able to cover about 80% of it with the digital, and with the analog it was a whole lot less than 80%. And with the digital, they went clean out to the Denver International Airport with directional antennas. They were able to get into the repeater. I think it was 32 miles away, and the antenna is 10 feet in the air, so they could get into the repeater from 32 miles. But it was pretty interesting. When I come up to a meeting in a few months or something, I'll bring my computer with me, and I got it on there, and I can show that to everybody. That may be interesting. So we'll turn it back to that, WB7BHM.
Well, hey, Jim, that is very interesting. I definitely would like to see them learn more about that. Okay, let's move on to another Jim. Jim Covington, I guess. I didn't ever know exactly which of the towns down there you lived in. N7QO, go ahead.
N7QO, thank you, Bob. Well, technically, I am in unincorporated King County. Covington is the nearest location, so I kind of say that, but I'm not really in Covington. I'm kind of out in the sticks in King County. But, I don't know, there's been rumors about being annexed by Covington for several years. I don't know if that's ever going to happen. I'm not sure if there are advantages and or disadvantages to that, but whatever. Let's see. Well, Lee. Yeah, sorry that Lee is sick. Hope it's not the flu. Boy, this winter has been a bad year for the flu. I know about a half dozen people who were vaccinated and they got the flu. I don't know. Sounds kind of like a scam to me, but nevertheless, people get vaccinated thought that they're not going to get the flu, and they do. So I hope it's not the flu, Lee. Call it a infection, but best of luck to you on there. Hang in there. Well, Rochester, Jim, good to hear you in there. Let's see, Dick, thanks for the information on what's going on. That gives me a little more idea of what I should look at. Let's see. I'm going to mention something else. I don't know. Oh, yeah. My pictures are actually getting. Let me reset. My pictures are actually getting a little bit better. When I began, I did not have any color, not even from the ATV repeater, and now I'm getting a little bit better picture quality, a little bit less snow, and certainly better color. I had good color on you, Ron, the last time you were on. I can hear now as well. So, I don't know, no matter how windy it is up on
like to apologize to Jim in Covington. I guess I should have called you on the phone. Ron gave me your phone number, and I'm kind of discombobulated the last since I was on the air when you were on the air, Jim. My father-in-law passed away literally the day after I met with Scott NB7N, and there's like a 2.5-week lead time for interment at the Holman National Cemetery, and so we, for literally 2 to 3 weeks, our life has been on hold, and well, we're finally getting back to normal, and so I'm sorry you're the last to find out about getting the equipment. And Ron, I'll be sure and give you a phone call in the next day or two after I get squared away. And you, and of course you as well, Jim, as I make arrangements for a lunch between Scott NB7N, Ron KD763, and myself, KD794. So that's where I stand. Mr. Net Control. The YL just came through the door, so I'm going to have to say 73. It's getting down to that time of the night anyway, so it's been a lot of fun talking to you guys. So I'll send it back to Net. K9PQ, K79ATS. Have a great night.
Oh, you too, Richard, and thanks for joining us. Jim CHN, I do apologize for not asking for check-ins. I did one time and then forgot asking. So I'm going to do that right now. We're at the bottom of the list. Are there any other stations that would like to check in and join the net? Okay, nothing heard. I will take my turn. And I did have a comment on Jim at 720 being an unincorporated King County. Give you an idea how times have changed. I grew up right next to the interstate, over in Robbinsville, basically across 99 where Ron lives. And when I was quite young, that was unincorporated King County. We kind of annexed into Bellevue. Early to mid-60s, I remember very distinctly brother found a wallet in a field nearby and called in to put it over to the county sheriff's deputy. So it was a huge impression on young me. So, and I didn't forget to get my video. I assumed Ron my car, so I got my video up now, so it's right back.
mobile try. The two that I've used in the past have worked very well, and I get a very strong signal on 1.2 gigs with a much smaller antenna than I have out here on my garage for the downlink, and a much smaller antenna for the 440 side too. So it has a lot to do with the foliage that's between me and the repeater, obviously. So, and I'm looking forward to going the mobile route too when the weather gets a little bit wetter. 73s to everybody. James from Rochester, it's good to have you back in again, and I hope you're feeling better. We'll talk to you next Wednesday.
Okay, Gary. Nice to do that.
7BHS, and we'll say the best 73s to everybody. I didn't get in here till a little late, but better late than never, I guess. I talked to my brother about one, and then I went ahead and hit the bottom of the hour. Probably sometime next week. Gotta find me a new fishing license also. Wasn't gonna do that, but he kind of talked me into it. Fork out the money for a new fishing license and go up and go fishing. So let's see.
Thank you, Bob. Yeah, have fun with the fishing there, Jim. Let's see, Bellevue, Jim. I had for a period of time just set my antennas on a cardboard box, and that worked well for a period of time until I improved things. But that was really expensive box. Someone was saying being discombobulated. A couple of people mentioned that. Yeah, you know, I've been like that for several years now. I feel like that first year, and but still discombobulated, but not as bad as discombobulated. I know, life's getting hectic. Oh well. Well, thanks everyone for participating, and thanks for hosting the net. Night all at 7:12.
Okay, Jim, and Richard already checked out, so move on the list. And I'll say my 73s as well to everybody. Thank you all for joining the net. The net tonight, and glad to hear everyone. And we did miss the week tonight. Of course, we're back again for Saturday. And I do want to thank the CTAC repeater group for allowing us the use of the repeater to do the voice coordination for our video net. We are at Pascan Video, and due to our being close enough to the Canadian border at the Bay line, I believe it's north of, and it limits our ability to use 440 that would carry the audio on the frequency. So we appreciate the use of the CTAC repeater group for the use of the repeater for our net. And with that, I will say this is K9PQ closing the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net at 9 o'clock, and return the repeater to normal operations. Good night all.